Can you define anthropology for me?
Anthropology is just the study of humans, honestly. That's literally the name, science. Literally what the name means, science of humans. So,
Um, what's the difference between biological and cultural anthropology?
cultural anthropology focuses more on human societies and human creations. Biological anthropology looks more at the physical aspects of being human, our evolution, the different adaptations that people take on. There's a move actually to start fusing them because we're realizing that biology and culture can't really be separated out when it comes to humanity. So,
Who are anthropologists and what do they do in the field?
so it really depends. People who do archaeology are considered anthropologists. Linguists are considered anthropologists from time to time. Biological anthropologists tend to work either with living primate groups or with skeletal remains. A lot of my professors do work with the skeletal record. Cultural anthropologists usually work with a specific group of people. They go and live with the people and study them, and it's not trying to write the entire record of humanity as much as it is of a group of people, as much as it is trying to write on certain aspects of that group of people. So like why a group maybe eats dinner the way they do, as opposed to why the group does every single thing that they do. So,
What are the mindsets, cultures, or customs that might be specific to anthropologists that set them apart from other professionals?
so anthropologists make a big focus on not being closed-minded, not being culturally focused. I've noticed a lot of my cultural anthropology professors are not super comfortable in their home culture, which is interesting. I think that one of the things that you need to be an anthropologist is to not necessarily feel comfortable with other people specifically, just because when you're comfortable with other people, you don't all of a sudden step back and say, why do we do the things we do? It's when you're a little uncomfortable that you start to think, well, why do we sit at chairs instead of why do we sit at tables instead of standing at them or kneeling at them, things like that. So that's probably the big thing. Culturally, it's largely Western. Anthropology developed in the colonial world, and so a lot of anthropologists are Western, and as Western influence expands, people spend more time looking at anthropology, but we don't want to focus it just on Western people. We like to try and give other cultures a voice as much as possible. So,
Last question. What communication skills or knowledge are critical for entering the anthropology field?
You have to be willing to step out of your comfort zone. It's really awkward to go up to somebody and be like, hey, can I interview you? I've never met you before and I don't really speak your language, but let's do an interview. So you have to be really open to being uncomfortable. And you have to be able to understand what questions you need to ask in order to get the information you need because you can't directly ask. I can't ask you what defines American culture? You're not gonna know. I have to ask you questions to get around, and to understand it through your answers. So that takes a lot of practice to really be able to get down and dig into that. And yeah, just being open, being understanding that you can't be so focused on results that you ignore the evidence in front of you. But that's just kind of any scientist. So.
And can you just give me some information about yourself?
Yeah, so my name's Kim Reynolds. I'm a senior anthropology major. I am doing multidisciplinary, so kind of cultural, little bit of physical. I really want to go into forensic anthropology after I graduate. So.
All right, great. Thank you.